right up my alley, and called Managing and Leading Organizations. So this course really focused on leadership as a choice, that as coaches, we are putting ourselves in those situations. And, not everybody, some people are voluntold to be put in those situations, but they still can choose to be the leader they want to be. So it's exactly like um, when somebody gets promoted at work, unbeknownst to them, sometimes managers are simply the best workers. It doesn't mean they know how to lead or manage an organization. And that happens in coaching. Sometimes, a player played, so they're like, I'm going to get into coaching, or they're on a minor hockey team, and other parents find out they played and they get put into a coaching role. But you can really choose to be the leader you want in that situation. And it's this class really taught us to lead through adversity and make really tough calls, and how to make those tough calls, how to be able to make tough choices and stand in your own shoes after you've made those choices. Um, so the decision to lead is that you can't really control whether your team wins every game, but you can control how you react to those situations, and you can prepare for those moments. You might not know as much about the X's and O's, or you might know a ton, but those moments after the game, after a win or loss, are just as important as during the game. Staying calm on the bench when the referee makes a call, being able to control your emotions, Wally, just as we talked about the previous coach that you had mentioned, but being able to uh, remain the leader in all situations and not letting your own emotions get away from you. That you as the leader have accountability, that you have to own the mistakes as a leader in a business organization and as a coach. So, what happens after things go astray? Are you open and honest with the parent organization? Are you open and honest um, with the child or with the athlete? And I think that's just as important as in good times, making sure that you have that great communication between all aspects of the organization. But leaders really do have to own tough decisions. I mean, mistakes are made all the time in business, and how do you own that? And how does that endear you not only to your company, but to your customers as well? Thinking about the legacy you want to leave as well, thinking about the impact you want to have on players beyond the win and losses. So developing athletes that grow into leaders themselves. And I know Tom and Wally, you guys do this so well. But that's not really thought of all the time when people are put into leadership roles. Is it's not just about me leading this team, it's about how these people are going to lead their teams in the future as well. I think it's like as a parent, when you see your child become a parent, and that's one of the biggest joys, I'm sure, as a grandparent as well. Listening and adaptability. So in class, we practice framing problems and asking questions about those problems. So we did a ton of case studies about different businesses and thinking about how we would react in those different situations, or maybe how the leadership could have reacted in different ways. In hockey, this means asking players what they're seeing on the ice instead of just telling them what you think all the time, but allowing them to become the learner, as you like to refer to it as, Wally. And I love that. So, biggest takeaway for me for coaches is that leadership is about daily choices that we make that shape not only the results, but also the people that we are coaching. So, I'm going to stop sharing and I'll leave it open for discussion.
Peter,
Peter's back.
Go ahead, Wally.
well, no, everything you're saying, I'm totally in line with. Um, and it's so interesting, Sammy, you're talking, and I'm thinking the organization, and I'm also thinking the team, the coach, and
There's so many layers. Yeah.
there's layers of leadership, uh, and ultimately the involved in sports, minor sports, that leadership group at the top will change. And who knows what philosophy they want and the way it's going to go. So we're just trying to create a culture that's going to be a legacy of how we do things. to develop the life skills that make you the best player and person you can be. And that's sort of the essence of where I'm coming from anyway, but I'm sort of the do-gooder guy. And
Mhm.
like I've said to Tom before, I'm the best loser in the world. I celebrate losing because that's learning. And I don't look at it as failure. And what I throw out to the coaches is their job is to make the other coach better. The players, your job is to make the other team better. And when you have that philosophy, winning or losing, you can accept losing and learning, realizing how important that is. So, I, I'm really big on the values and the mission and the covenant and the idea of why are we here and what are we doing it for? And I've always been curious about business because business and professional sport is a dollar sign. It's profit, it's winning. And minor sports, um, it's not, it's an opportunity to develop life skills and not lose track of the perspective you need. Uh, and that's what we're just trying to maintain perspective at the level we work at. Tom, Peter, they've done it all their lives. I think it comes from teaching and what teaching entails, being coaches so long. But talking about minor hockey organizations and your course, everything you're saying, Sammy, is absolutely uh, in line with what I'm thinking. It's just how what can we take away from it to use? So, Peter,
Yeah, I don't I went to the truck to pick her up because it's pouring rain right now, so I don't know if you hear the rain pounding down the truck or not, but I'm in the pickup
We
line.
don't.
But
You actually sound great. Yeah.
all right, great, good. To me, Wally and Sammy, like what you're talking about is I've always felt there's a difference between a program and a team. A team is a group of individuals who successfully accomplish a task together. A program is, regardless of who those individuals are, because of the culture, because of the systems that you have either on your team or in your company, the people that you bring in, because it's natural in the company, people get other jobs, people retire. So you've got to fill in those spots. You have an actual program when it doesn't matter who has been inserted into those roles, you're still able to accomplish the same goal. So to me, that's always been my goal when I have coached is to create a program with my team. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Love that. That's really well said, Peter. And I love the differentiation you made. So that makes a ton of sense.
yeah, I think you're 100% you're spot on with that. And that's what you're talking about, right? It doesn't matter, kind of next player up, so to speak.
Love that. Tom, do you want to chime in?
Yeah,
We can
I,
see you now, by the way.
yeah, I figured out something on my computer here. I got the video. There needs a little work here. I got it all
Yeah, you
cut
look
just for
great.
this
Don't worry.
meeting, and yeah, I totally agree with Peter. You go from place to place. You can see where there is a program, and you can see where everything is hodgepodge. Like I was assistant coach of the state 2018-19, and they gassed the women's coach and asked me to take over after Christmas. He only won 3 games in the last year and a half. It used to be a great program before. And was like really wasn't like a team whatsoever. Mike Kennedy was helping me at ex-NHL. He had the players sit down in the dressing room and put chairs facing each other. And he said, well, who's in and who's not? Girls, he said, sit there. You're in, you're not in. A few girls sat in the in one. I said, no. how we started dealing with it. Because different players were running different parts of the team kind of deal. They were pretty good. Wally helped me at the very end with them. It really made a difference. We went 6-6. Had to beat top team twice to get in the playoffs. We beat them twice, but unfortunately, second was an overtime win. We lost the tiebreaker. Wally was on the bench. But what a difference when you get everybody on board to because otherwise, there's no consistent. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it makes total sense. And it's not easy when you have a team like that to start.
Yeah, because they have their internal leadership. And what happened with that team is they kind of backed off, the ones that they basically were leading like it was a rec team that was getting scholarships and equipment and sticks. But they were the ones that were supposed to decide the power play and all this kind of stuff. That was their big complaint about the girl that they fired. She was actually making coaching decisions. And they wanted to be. And then some of them raised the next season, some of that started coming out again. I was the coach. You could see where she had the problems. People were still around. And so that's something that it's hard to get a handle on that kind of stuff. And I'm sure in business it's the same thing. Somebody gets mad because somebody else got the promotion.
I think part of it too is, owning those mistakes from year to year as a coach and learning, like we're not all going to do it right the first time, and we're not always going to have the right people. But how can you learn? Like Wally said, every situation is a learning situation so that you can then communicate that in the future. And you have that as your lowest common denominator almost,
And I think it's something that, like in education, they never taught you how to discipline. So you come in and like when I went to school, strap was common and all this kind of stuff. So what you do is you basically do what was, your experience and those kind of things. And what you're talking about, I don't think they ever teach people management skills. I've seen people, really nice guys, teachers and that, and then they get a promotion to assistant principal or vice principal or something, and their personality absolutely changes. Now I'm the king, and you don't even want to be around them. So it's a skill that really important to learn.
Yeah.
Sammy,
Okay. Yes.
the Peter Principle. What have you learned from what you're doing about the Peter Principle?
What's
Anything?
the Peter Principle? Like Peter Whitney?
No. The Peter Principle is people rise to their level of incompetence.
People rise to the level of their incompetence?
Yes, that's
Okay, that could be me, Wally.
back in my era. There were leaders in organizations that got promoted that didn't have the leadership skills, and they protected themselves and became autocratic, created layers, and organizations are, the Peter Principle is degree of competence, and whether they're willing to be open and learn and understand that leadership really is servitude.
Like you're right, Wally, that people get promoted without competence almost 100% of the time. I mean, people get put into positions. Anytime you apply for the next promotion, the next job, usually it's beyond your grasp and you have to learn, right? And so it's up to the person to be of that wanting to learn, but it's also up to the organization to create not safeguards, but learning opportunities, just as it is in programs and in coaching or in hockey organizations. You can't just put a coach in place and then leave them to the wolves. Like you have to have, as an organization, ways for those coaches to learn, to be mentored, to see other coaches coach, to know what works, what doesn't work, those kind of things too. So I think it works both